Bonjour. Direct and indirect object, or COD and COI in French. Look, the first time I have a lesson with a beginner or an intermediate student, I ask them, COD and COI, my friend, can you tell them apart? And more often than not, the answer is no. Student says he has never even heard of the word. That's usually when I clench my fist and go,
who taught you French up to this point?
In French, you're in a never-ending battle if you cannot tell the difference between COD and COI. If you cannot tell them apart, it's going to be messy down the road. Trust me. And today we're covering precisely that. We're covering it fast because you're probably already busy doing a million other things. So if you're ready, there's no time to waste. COD and COI, direct or indirect object in French. What does it stand for? The COD stands for complément d'objet direct and is the word or group of words that join the verb without preposition to complete its meaning. So we have a verb here that has an incomplete meaning, and the COD completes its meaning. And on top of that, we also have either a word or a group of words. We could have un robot as the COD, or un robot et un robot. Would be two robots, but that's a funny way to put it. It's still the COD. All that you see in orange here is the COD, and you probably noticed that I scrolled down the window, and now we have the details of how it works exactly to create a COD in a sentence, or rather to identify it, and a bit more about that in just a second to find out what funny Sherlock Robocop can tell us about it. Je vois un robot, I see a robot. Here you have a COD. Un robot is a COD. Elle mange un radis, she's eating a radish. Un radis, it's a COD. On écoute de la musique. De la musique is a COD. All these things, COD. How do I know it's a COD? I told you earlier, case declension system of other languages make it easier for learners to find out what does what in a sentence. In French, not so much so. You need to find out by asking a question. And this is where Robot Sherlock helps us find out what does what. To identify the direct object complement, play detective. Become a child again for a second by adding who or what after the verb. Je mange un drone en chocolat blanc. When you read that sentence, you might ask, where is the COD? Or is there a COD? And how do you find out? By adding who or what after the verb. Let's let it sink in for a second. Adding who or what after the verb. Je mange quoi? If you can get an answer out of this question, what am I eating? And it makes sense, and you can come up with, that part of the sentence, and it makes sense. There you have it. That's your signal that you have a COD, that you're dealing with COD. It's a matter of flushing it out of the sentence. How about flushing COD out? Example 2. Bilkis regarde Zania. Two women. Bilkis regarde qui? Who is Bilkis watching? Jania. And here I added qui, so who or whom instead of what. That's how you spot it, by adding question word who or what after the verb. And it brings us to the second part of the video, and I told you it's going to go really fast. Second part of the video, the indirect object, which stands for COI stands for complément d'objet indirect, and it is a word or a group of words that join the verb through a preposition to complete its meaning. And see, this is new here. We don't have that with a COD. It's different. Through a preposition. Je parle à Spokis finis kilis tidis. All right? I'm talking to Spokis finis kilis tidis. there's a preposition here. This is why that I here is in green, in olive green. Dick se souvient de son voyage. And I'm not writing Dick remembers his trip without the preposition. In French, there's that de, which is a preposition between the two. It's hinting at a COI. And again, you're going to need to ask a question to make sure you're dealing with a COI, because you're not always going to have a preposition in the case of pronouns. And in that case, you need to really know how to identify what it is with a question. But here, there is a preposition, so it makes it easier. It hints at it. Elle donne un cadeau à Geef. She's giving a gift to Geef. She's giving Geef a gift. A is a preposition hinting at a COI, but we still need to wear our Sherlock cop hat by asking a question. To identify the indirect object complement, play detective by adding to what, for whom, to whom, whose, etc. after the verb. You'll notice that in every situation here, except for whose, there is a preposition and a question word in English. Okay? It doesn't work all the time, but if you can ask a question, and in that question you need to add a preposition with a question word in English, means it's going to be a COI. Let's take an example. Flushing COI out. Example 1. Carl permet à son robot de rigoler, which stands for, or translates into, Carl allows his robot to laugh. The question I would be asking here to find out if it is COD or COI would be, Carl permet à qui de rigoler? Notice I added a preposition, because you noticed here there was a preposition in the original sentence. And if I had said Carl permet qui? Carl permet qui? No, it doesn't work, because it doesn't mean the same, because we changed the nature of the first sentence if we don't add that preposition. So pay special attention to the preposition in a sentence. Very, very important. Carl permet à qui de rigoler? À son robot. Son robot devient COI. Or it's always been a COI, but now you know it is a COI. You've done a great job at spotting out who did it, who was the murderer or the COI. Flushing COI out, example 2. Est-ce que tu te rappelles du Big Bang? Tu te rappelles de quoi would be the question. Tu te rappelles de quoi? Du Big Bang. De is the preposition in front of the question word. And if you had written tu te rappelles quoi, because you're probably going to try both, sometimes you're going to be lost thinking, is it de quoi, quoi? I need to ask that question to find out if it is COD or COI. It doesn't work. It's not good French to say tu te rappelles quoi, because we're missing the preposition. Tu te rappelles de quoi is correct French. That means that there's an extra part of the learning process in French which stands revolves around studying what preposition goes with what verb. This is a very important part, and we're not doing that in this lesson. We're just finding out how COD and COI work. But the more you know how to combine the right preposition with the right verb, the more you can be a king of the COD-COI difference. Or a queen. I don't know what sex you have, or if you have both sexes. These days it is a bit confusing with the sexes, but hey, you can be both a queen and a king. And that would be a queen. All right, today what did we cover? We covered the difference between COD and COI, and in a nutshell, let's sum it up. COD, word or group of words that join the verb without preposition. No preposition between voix and un. It's an article. Un is an article. Same with de here. I see you in the room, telling me that de is a preposition. Not a preposition. It's an article. Okay, so écoute plus article, no preposition, so it's a COD, and we learned how to ask the right question. Verb plus question word, that tells us it's a COD. COI, preposition. This is why there's a green letter here. Je parle à, je me souviens de, un cadeau à, and how to identify by asking that question, preposition question word right after the verb. That's all for today, and that's what it boiled down to. Now you're ready to tackle the exercise. The link is below the video. See you there.